Hello, Bailey Art Crafters, and welcome to our beginner-friendly series. In this series, we're going to go through all the basics that you'll need to know on how to make your next project. These projects will also be featured in one of our Bailey Art Lives. So if you're new to crafting or just need a refresher, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
We will get started with design, and that one's going to be fairly easy because most of it is already built out for you using the free SVGs on Bailey.art. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started here. Bailey.art, and you can go to our freebie craft files and search up the two SVGs that we'll be using are the Arch Cake Topper. Oops. And then add to cart. And you'll also be using the Celestial Objects. Add to cart. All right, remember these are free, so you will just be adding them to cart and then going to checkout. Okay, at checkout, again, they are free. So we'll just put our information here to get those downloads. And then you can choose here about emailing with news and offers. I like to leave that one on if I were you, because that's how you'll know when we're doing our events or getting new SVGs available on the shop or new products. So if you want to get, all the latest news, you want to keep that clicked. Your order is free. No payment is required. For billing address, you'll need to put that in. Although, again, there is no card on file here. You're just putting your information for your account if you're making one. And then complete order. And you'll be either getting an email with your SVGs, or you can stay on this page and let them download straight from the website. So download now, download now. They'll go to your downloads folder on your computer, and you can see them when you open downloads. They are in zipped files, so you need to unzip them. Click the files and extract all. This right here is telling you which folder they're going to. So we're going to downloads, extract, and do the same for both files. Once you have those extracted, they'll be ready for Cricut Design Space. You can go ahead and open up Cricut and then start a new project. I have this one open here. The font for this project is October Daylight. And then from here, your blank project, you'll go to the left and upload your files, upload image, and you can open your download folder. You'll be using the cut file here, not PNGs or JPEGs. Those are basically pictures, but the one you want is where it'll actually cut the shape. So I'll drag that here, upload bottom right, and then it'll go here to your recent uploads and just do the same for both files. And then to add them to your canvas, you'll click each image, and you'll see down here on the bottom right in these circles, it kind of previews what you're adding to the canvas. Confirm you're adding, and they'll show up right on your page or on your screen. So if you want to leave it right here, you can see the sizing of the arc as is a height of 7.94 inches, which is pretty big. So I wouldn't suggest making it any bigger than what it is right now. If you change any of the sizes here of the pieces, you'll want to make sure you're changing the entire one, or you can just leave it and not resize at all, which is my suggestion, which is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to leave it as is. And the celestial objects are also in this group. So I'm going to ungroup them and pick the pieces that I want, which is the moon, and this star right here. Now the rest we can highlight and delete. The arc is also in a group, so we'll go up here and ungroup it. And these are the pieces. We've got a frame for the front, plastic in the middle to make that shaker, another frame, and then the arc behind it. The moon and star both come with a little offset already, so you don't need to do any offsets here. If you want to resize this, which I'm going to, as is, it's a bit big, you'll make sure that this on the top where it says sizing, it has the little lock closed. If you open it like this, it'll kind of change in stretching or squish motions. So I'm going to make sure it stays locked. You can change it to whatever size you would like. I'm making mine smaller for sure. Let's see. The sizing I have right here is estimated at 2.7 by 2.9. And then I have a star. And we are going to need 3 of these. So I'm going to use Control D to duplicate twice. And right now you can see that the stars are behind the arc, which makes it a little hard to place some of them. These 2 are in the front, these 2 are in the back. So I'm going to bring them to the front. You can do that by highlighting which piece you want to move, and then go to the top and arrange and bring to front. Alrighty. So what we're really going to be doing today is figuring out how to design using slice and weld. They're really fun to use, and they really help you kind of plan out your project on line on this digital version to the real life one, because when you move it on here on the computer, you can place things, but once you cut them out, obviously they're not where you had placed them on the computer. You need to design that in person. But using the weld, the way we're going to, it'll help you keep the stars and moon where you want them to be when it actually cuts out. So let me show you guys how to do that. First, we are going to need the backing of the star here. I'm going to ungroup. Oops, I grouped it. Ungroup, there we go. And we're going to duplicate this back. So Control D, we'll move it here, and we're going to place it where we would want to see it on our frame. We're going to do that with 2 stars. Grab the back and Control D and place. We're going to highlight both the frame, the pink frame, and the star backing by using Shift and clicking our other piece. And then down here on the bottom right is the slice tool, and right next to that is the combine tool. You'll open this and see weld at the top of the pop-up that comes. Click that and it welds these 2 into one shape. And we'll do the same for this star and the frame. So again, Shift, click, and weld. Now if it changes color, don't worry. It's changing the color to just one of the pieces that you highlighted. You can easily change that by going back to the top left and changing it back the color of your preference. They have some options for your material colors here. If you want something more specific, one design, you can press advanced and you can kind of pick a whole new color. It's got a lot more options. For now, I'll leave it pink. All right, here's your frame, And when, again, these stars are behind it right now, so I'm going to highlight them and arrange to bring to front so we can place them where we want them to be. So now when you cut out your star or your frame, you'll already know exactly where you want to place this star. There we go. And we can do the same for the moon. We're clicking, getting that backing part. I'm not going to ungroup this one. I'm just going to Control D here. It's highlighted on the side. And then we'll just place about right there. Click and weld. Okay, so now we've got our welded pieces here and all of our stars and moon. Now I'm going to show you guys how to do the slice method now. So slice is the kind of the opposite of weld. We are now cutting into pieces that are overlapping instead of welding them together. All right, so to add text, you'll go to the left, click text, and then type out your name or word. There we go. And then you can see the sizing here. You can change sizing with this font specific tools, or you can see the sizes change here if you have something specific as far as height and width. So I'm going to pretend that I'm putting it together. It looks, I think, good, about centered here. I'm going to change the color to white. And I'm also going to make an offset because we want to have something to be behind it. You can change your offset size up here in the corner. I usually go about 0.15, apply, and then it will come as two different layers here. So they're still separate. I'm going to duplicate this backing here because we're going to slice one and then leave the other. I'm going to highlight these two and then go down to the bottom right and slice. When you slice it, you'll have the front that you first put in, the inside that was cut out, and then what's around it here. So we are going to leave this empty. This is what we'll be cutting out, so it'll be empty in the inside. So I'll kind of just have like an outline, and then we don't need the words here anymore. We do want the offset still, but because this has the offset kind of on the outline, I'm going to make another offset, same size, delete this one, and we'll have it right here. We're going to change this to gold and the background to match the frame. You can use the align option to center them and then group it. We'll have it sit right there. And the other thing I want to do for the moon, I want to put a little hole in the moon because I want to put a little string through it. So I'm going to open my shape tools here, get a circle, and then just move it over here, zoom in, and you want to make sure it's behind the moon, the top moon layer. Make it very small. Put it right here. And then I need to click the back layer of the moon along with shift with the circle and slice. All right, now we have all of our pieces here. So all that's left is to actually cut them out. And then, but before I do, I'm going to show you guys just what's kind of going to look like when it's put together, because I'm using purple paper as well. So now I'm going to change the colors to match what I have. And each color is representative of the material you're using. So I'm leaving this blue one. It's not going to be blue, but you want your clear craft plastic a certain color. We usually leave it blue just because it's pretty bright and make sure you remember what you're using. So this one will stay blue, and then we'll just layer everything else behind here. And you can also change the colors in color sync. For example, the pink for magic, I'm going to move up to be with purple. And it'll change it automatically here. That's really helpful if you have a download that has a lot of different colors and you just kind of want to simplify it. This will go here, and the stars will bring to the front. And they'll arrange. I'm going to group my stars again. When you group pieces, it automatically arranges them to front. You can also drag layers if they're really close by. This is going to be the one that's floating. And this is the moon in front. All right, and that is what we're going to use on Design Space. From here, before you cut, you need to do a few more settings. So when you go to the top right, you'll see a little icon of the Cricut machine. And this one says Maker, but I'm using an Explore Air 2. So I'm going to want to click that and use the Explore family. And that'll be, that's just kind of telling Cricut Design Space what machine you're using so it knows what features that you have. You'll click Make. And you have a preview of all your pieces here. So I only have 4 different material colors, which means 4 different materials. This is the gold glitter, gold foil. This will be the craft plastic, and this will be my purple paper. So you can see that you need the full sizing. If you want to change your size, if you don't have for example, this page here is representing a 12 by 12 sheet. If you only have letter size, you can change the material size and it'll automatically fit those in. And if it doesn't fit on one sheet, it will add it to another one here. But I do have the 12 by 12 paper, so I'm going to move it back. Here you can also arrange your pieces. For example, if I want this star to save paper, I'm going to put it in this section right here where there's a little opening. I can move that. I can do that for any of my pieces. If I go back and cancel what I'm doing right now, where I moved things will change back to their automated spots. When I'm finished here, I can press continue and we can begin cutting. Make sure your machine is turned on. And when you press cut, and for this, for the Explore Air 2, it doesn't have an online material picking. It's got this dial. So I'm using light cardstock, which is about 65-pound cardstock. And for the glitter paper, I'm going to need to move that dial up, as well as for the craft plastic. All right, so now our Cricut is ready for material to be loaded up. You can see that with this little arrow, how it's blinking. That means it is ready for you to load your materials. So you've got your Cricut mat, your materials, and you can get started.
I hope this video was helpful and you learned something new that you can use for your next project or that you'll be ready for our next live. So join us next time and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.